Hello everybody, Bylord Root here, and welcome back to Rosewood Drifts, where you can see we have a wee bit of a problem here, where we had a little bit of a double whammy hit us on the disasters. We'll be fixing that in a moment, but I did want to mention something. I did happen to add node controller in. I forgot to turn it on. I believe this is maybe it over here, maybe not. Maybe. No, that's not it at all. I can't really remember where it is. So, that's going to be a thing. It might even be one of these. But, I don't know, we'll maybe be able to handle that at some point. Um, and I guess the main thing that's worth mentioning here is that we want to fix this, of course, but we also want to prevent it in the future. And this is the thing about the disasters. It sort of happens. Yes, it's inconvenient, and there's not really anything that can be done to really handle it. But what we can do is we'll just sort of turn it on medium to make this go faster. We'll patch in the landscape. And if we can't really prevent the earthquakes, because the earthquakes are going to really happen no matter what, we can maybe mitigate the effects of the flooding whenever a tsunami happens. So we're going to be looking at flood abatement as well here. So in order to fix this, it's going to be pretty straightforward. We are, of course, going to come back. It needs to maybe filter out some, which means we can maybe work on the top bit just a little bit. Wait for the water to evaporate here. All things considered, this could have been worse, which I am, relatively pleased about. I'm not pleased that it happened, but I am pleased that it's not as bad as it could have been. So I guess while we're waiting for stuff to drain out, what I am going to do here is I am going to maybe show the underground view, because we have a thing here that we can do, and which I reckon we ought to do at least, and that is, we can go look for, I guess the roots here. We want to put up, I guess a levee in the river, and it's not going to prevent the flooding, but it will reduce the magnitude of it. So for smaller floods, the hope is that maybe with enough effort that it'll hit the walls of the levee. And let's see, that's probably tall enough, and then reflect off of it, and then absorb some of the energy as well. And so that's going to be pretty straightforward. There is a way to sort of tell where these things are, so we kind of want to leave some room for the ships to get through. And we do have to be careful because they can get stuck. Unfortunately, it can be quite difficult to really tell. But if we're careful, we need soul. Well, we'll buy some. We put it on high strength here. Create a little bit of a channel for this to go through. And we are going to be very careful here. Maybe even turn down the strength a little bit. But if we start taking a look at this, then what'll happen is these guys, and that might need to be pulled back a little bit, it might get caught if we're not careful, but we are just going to bring this over here. And yeah, I think I actually will go with the high strength. And then whenever a wave hits, and actually this is probably good enough. We could just go ahead and bring this down just a little bit, and then there is a feature to feather out the landscape just a little bit. It doesn't quite look natural that way, but I'm not too bothered by it. So if we get a flood coming in, it'll hit this little island here and hopefully sort of bounce off. We'll see how much of that is needed. Now, for the rest of it, so this part isn't too bad. The rebuilding process is pretty straightforward. And really all we have to do in order to fix this is, I think we've got, what, gravel roads. This is something that people tend not to like about the Disasters pack, and I guess some people get it for the buildings. Some people get it just because they expect it to be like, you know, some city disasters. And I guess the truth of the matter is it's not really. Which can be a bit annoying. But you gotta think that, like, if realism is a thing that you consider important in a game, it does at least offer that. What else do we got here? So this guy collapsed. For what reason, I do not know. If we go take a look at our education, we could honestly use another school down here to sort of pad things out. So, you know, getting things back up is important, and this is actually another thing we still want to continue to develop as well. So I'm going to let that happen. We should be pretty good on our other things here, but we need to come back here because the roads were destroyed. I'm going to grab our tram thing. And I guess we will fix everything here. It is mostly fixed. There's a thing that I need to fix up here anyway, because there is no, I guess there's some missing things here. Obviously, I think that we maybe ran into an issue when we were constructing this initially. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fix that. We need to rebuild our subway. This will unfortunately be a bit of an issue for us. Where is that other thing? Connect the sky up. Fortunately, our park, it didn't end up in that bad of a way. It's still, you know, it could have been better, but it also could have been worse. So we'll just go back, rebuild as much as we can, and maybe come back and deal with that a little bit later. Importantly, the ships are sort of taken care of here, even though they clip through the bridge. Which means at some point we might consider a coastal thing, and we're still flooded over here. Which tells me that we can maybe expect something along the lines of flooding around here. Anyway, that's mostly handled. Other stuff we need to take care of. We are about to run out of sewage treatment, which is not so good. And then if we take a look at our power, we're still good at it for now. Budget-wise, however, that's all the way up. Wait, what? Oh, I thought something was about to happen. Well, I'm glad it didn't. Where are our little pumping trucks? That is kind of bizarre. And what do we got here? We got a light or a stop sign. We got a light. Anyway. What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw down one of these bad boys if I can fit it anywhere. Maybe right about here. And I suspect the next thing we want to do is create more jobs. So we're going to do that. We should have plenty of people now that are able to work here. And we can pretty much, I guess, return to our normal task, which is not letting things catch on fire. The crematorium is on fire. Oh no. Honestly, that may have been a really bad idea. Because now the fire station might catch on fire. We definitely don't want that crematorium catching on fire. What else do we have here that's a problem? We need police support, which I'm gonna put here. And we have worker shortages, which I'm not entirely sure what's going on. We do have passengers taking the metro, which you know is good. But, really all we have to do now is make sure that we're taken care of. There's a few things that we can do to increase living space around here. And those few things pretty much include us coming through and allocating enough space. Demand should go down pretty soon. But yeah, I guess I'll just sort of, for now, tinker with the city just a little bit. Just for now. Maybe figure out what we need to do. And we'll see you here in a bit. Just a brief one, we did get the university to go through another year, and honestly, I'm going to go back to Time Warp after this, but we need to increase the number of students. We'll give a grant this time in literature, and I will do that just so that we increase the demand. And we'll get to that. And we have reached our population goal here. So, amongst other things, I think we will begin work on the actual university area for our university district. Now, we want to be kinda careful for a couple reasons. A, this could actually get really dicey really quickly if we're not careful. I'm pretty much happy with this. We're not gonna have a tram or anything, but we can. We probably ought to. I guess update the roads around here. And we need to think about a few things. The first of which is where we're going to place this university. There are a lot of buildings with respect to the university that we need to think about, and we're going to take this entire zone, which I think we may have already done. No, we have not. We will have to sort of think about what we want to name this thing, but it would be a good thing to have. And we're not going to develop this. Oops, that is not what we wanted. We're not going to develop this as aggressively as maybe we could. Well, that was maybe not as good as I wanted it. But by having these two university areas over here, the hope is that we will be able to steadily supply very highly educated individuals for our work here, at least on this side of the river. Not everybody will, of course, need an education. Well, let's go take a look at some of the buildings, because we got lots of money to play around with now. We got sports, in particular. And if you're not familiar with the way that Americans tend to run universities. They tend to make sports a really big deal. And football is a really huge deal. It's also a really huge moneymaker as well. So if you have like a state university, then that's something to consider. We're going to go ahead and place this down. I have a feeling that the area that I've allocated for this is not nearly good enough. We'll just move that around. But yeah, the Americans often love college football more than they do, like NFL, National League. I'm not a sports fan, so, that's the thing. But, what we'll do, we'll go ahead, this area in particular is going to get really high volume traffic very, very quickly, and we need to be able to handle that. It's also going to give us the opportunity to maybe place some buildings that we're going to want. What else do we want to be able to place? Well, I guess if we do have football fans, you might think, okay, well, these all these sports are huge money sinks, and it's true that, it is really expensive to bootstrap. If you take a look at that, though, we've already got like 80 of our campus attractiveness, and it can actually go up some. Now, I'm not really expecting a miracle with this. We'll go ahead and we'll crank up the academic staff some. We got a fair amount of money. But this means that we also need to kick up some things. We don't necessarily need like an insane amount of coaches or anything. Spartan's fine. Oh, we'll make them blue. But as that increases, so will our revenue. And we're gonna throw down our, I think this is a law school. Let me just make sure I have snapping on. Yeah, this did turn out to be what we were looking for. Maybe we could reconcile the terrain just a little bit. I seem to have created a bit of a problem here. I'll go full strength and just level everything out. Okay, that is perhaps a little bit too much. It is way too hilly. Where is the soften terrain tool? It's actually kind of funny too, so, you know what? I actually like that. I'm going to leave that in there. I've had people tell me that are from other countries that, hey, why is everything so flat here being the US? It is really interesting if you think about it. Yeah, we kind of do prefer that. I'm going to do that because I think what we could do is we can go to the right tab first of all. And we can maybe increase the attractiveness. It does not like that because, why, slope's too steep. We will handle that momentarily. Okay, I think that'll let us be able to put down the study hall, which I think would be good. And then we ought to be able to put down some other things. So dorms would definitely be interesting. We definitely want those. I think we're definitely going to need some bigger areas. And I'm going to use the pathing here. Let's see if we can maybe with node controller we can center that. Although that actually looks okay. If we go take a look at this now, our attractiveness. Oh yeah, we do need to connect this as well. This is kind of a big deal. And if you're one of those people that's like city planner, universities do tend to be a little bit annoying because city planner plays, of course, always advises that you run the pipes under the road, which I mostly try to do. But these universities do make it a little bit difficult because there's not really many places where you can do that. So then you have to start thinking, okay, well, do I run it under the paths or whatever? Let's see what else we got here we can throw down. But yeah, you'll see this is going to be a really big money maker. Let's just move this maybe over to here. And for now, we will just run power lines over here. I think it's important maybe we level this out just a little bit. We don't want it to be like a plateau or anything. Well, let's see. We don't really have much of a student population yet. And yeah, this will be a loss leader for now. But we're trying to get the population up. I mean, for the most part, like if you look here, the main thing we're going to be worried about, I'll just fill that in, because we want more of our population to be educated. We already did that. And these guys are already very, very highly educated. So it would make sense here with our 22 students. I mean, we got a football match coming up here in a bit. 13/01/2036. So I guess in about 3 months. But every now and then you'll notice that they'll come down here. They'll pay for it, and the upkeep. But the upkeep's pretty high. I'm not gonna lie about that. And then eventually what we're gonna need to do as well, and what I may just go ahead and do now, because this is really a good place for public transit. So what I think I may do is I may go ahead and account for that. And in order to do that, we'll have a couple of stations up here, which means it's actually a really good thing that we've hooked this into the subway network. Just because of the fact that, yeah, I mean, the subways are going to be expensive too, no doubt about it. What is going on here? We don't have enough electricity. Let us increase this to 100% so that we do. We're very slightly over the line. Let's maybe give us 125. 120. Overall, not too bad. We should have plenty of room with which to grow. So here's a question. Will people start trickling in? Well, that bit kinda depends. I mean, here we've got the obvious problem. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's gonna be a little bit of a problem. Where are we going to strike? Yeah, that's the thing that kinda sucks about the meteors. Ideally, I mean... Wow. If it's not one crisis, it's another. Because now we're completely disconnected. Okay, first of all, we kinda need to get some redundancy in here. Anything really to handle that connection. There's really not much that we can do about the tsunami in that case. Which, you know, is a bit of a shame, but I just want us to be able to be reconnected at the moment. Man, that is not good. But yeah, at least it'll reflect back some of this. Because this is sort of a perfect example here. Yes, it will flow over the walls. And no, there's really nothing that we can do about that. As much as we want. That boat is in for a bumpy ride. And because of all of the abandonment that we have, I mean, this is sort of a problem. We might want a pumping service. I'll just let it do its thing. We can begin. I mean, we can bring down our budget, and we may have to. We may have to bring down much of our budget to be able to survive this, although we have plenty to work with. What are we missing here? Okay, well that we can fix. Despite all of this, I am leaving the disasters on. You know, another thing we could really do that might be kind of helpful is it would be good to build something to drain into. I mean, at least things are still kind of destroyed. But at least it's not as bad as it could be. We're bouncing back, though. I think that killed a significant portion of our population, though. Which is a wee bit of a shame. I think, maybe pumping services would not be a bad idea. They can go across the bridge. And pump to their heart's content. Just where do we put this is the question. Because the trouble with the pumping service oh no. Yeah, we gotta go through and rebuild each one of these. I don't think, I mean, granted, that was bound to be bad just because of the way it is. Certainly, sorry about that. So the thing that I was going to say is that, at any rate, that I think that our ability to respond is probably a little bit lackluster, given that we do have the disasters mod on. And we may, just given everything, because let's see what happened here. They just abandoned, probably due to no demand, which probably means that the sky is at least high enough up. So yeah, we want to get rid of the abandoned buildings because we know why they've abandoned. We have a fairly good idea. Bring our park back up. And before you know it, we're going to have our football game. Bit of a shame though. Now as far as this part is concerned, we're already at level 4. Which is good. And then as far as this here, let's see. It shouldn't be too long. Honestly, before we actually begin to see this guy making money. So on the first day, or not the first day, 13th day of the new year, it does kind of mess with me a little bit because it uses, I guess it's a European form, but they are rebuilding. And demand will go up slowly. That's not going to be too much of a problem. So I want to see if this thing actually ends up, because I've never had the opportunity to watch. But I do kind of want to see the game happen. And I guess we'll fast forward to it. And there we go, we just got a couple more days. I wonder if we'll actually get to see him play. Well, that's kinda disappointing. Oh no, we do. Or at least we get to see the cheerleaders. And there is an audience. The stadium's quite packed. But they're not actually playing football, they're doing their halftime show. So I guess they came to see the cheer. Oh no, they're actually playing football. And the game is lasting several days, so let's just see. I think it takes a while. I'm gonna sort of keep this up because we can assess the damage. And there we go. So you can see we brought in a ton of money. About 30 grand. But I'm gonna leave it here. And until then, this has been Thy Lord Root, and I shall see you next time.